So the Fairly Oddparents reboot series is actually kind of fire. I was nervous when I initially heard about it because why wouldn't I be? The Fairly Oddparents is a franchise that Nickelodeon has a history of forcing mediocre content from simply to take advantage of its name value. The live-action OddParents movies starring Drake Bell were but the live-action Fairly Oddparents TV show? What even was that?
Thanks for narrating my look-back montage, majestic voiceover fairy.
No problem, Timmy.
You 36!
The original show itself was internally ended, or at least almost ended a few times, but Nick just kept finding new ways to keep it going. A baby, a new little girl, a dog.
You help me bury this bone and this bag of evidence? I don't want the FBI to find this.
Police! Help! Police! Help!
But luckily, the newest continuation is the animated series, Fairly Oddparents: A New Wish, and it has been an absolute treat to watch. It's funny and clever with thoughtful storylines and beautiful eye-popping animation. But I must admit, the most enjoyable part of the new Fairly Oddparents series for me has been seeing the characters from the original series and getting to find out what they've been up to since the original show ended.
Crocker.
Should I know what that means?
As the show goes on, we learn the whereabouts of more and more characters, and today I want to give a full explanation of where all the original Fairly Oddparents characters are in A New Wish, at least all the ones that we know about so far. First up, Cosmo and Wanda. Obviously, Cosmo and Wanda were originally the fairy godparents to Timmy Turner, and they remained his godparents until he was 17. But now Cosmo and Wanda have come out of retirement to be godparents to a 10-year-old girl named Hazel Wells. They originally just move in next door to Hazel and her parents, and they describe themselves as your basic retired couple.
Your basic retired couple, living out our days couponing and eating dinner at 4 p.m.
They're freaked out to learn that Hazel's dad, Marcus Wells, specializes in studying the unusual and paranormal, and obviously there's nothing more paranormal and unusual than being a fairy godparent. Well, except maybe this.
So wait, mayonnaise massager isn't even a real job title.
Nope, I totally made it up. You see?
Eventually they realize Hazel is miserable and needs them badly, so they come out of retirement and get back to fairy godparenting. Or is it Fairly Odd Parenting? I don't know. They're still pretty similar in personality from the original series, but Cosmo seems to have turned down his dumbness a little bit at least, and Wanda has turned down the nagging a lot, so they're much more bearable and a lot more similar to each other than they were before. In this, they're both competent but a bit nitwitted at times, but I really enjoy the chemistry between Cosmo and Wanda in A New Wish. Up next is Cosmo's cousin, Jorgen von Strangle. Seriously, they're really cousins.
I swear.
Jorgen hasn't changed much from the original series. Now we see him still a high-ranking official in fairy world, still a powerful Arnold Schwarzenegger-like fairy, but now he has a white beard. That's pretty much the only update. Remember Doug Dimmadome?
Doug Dimmadome? The owner of the Dimsdale Dimmadome?
Doug Dimmadome, owner of the Dimsdale Dimmadome.
Well, you might remember his son Dale Dimmadome. If you don't, Dale worked 7 years in Vicky's underground sweatshop, making lemonade for her lemonade stand. After drinking the last drop of Timmy's magical lemonade, he gets his wish of being reunited with his father, Doug Dimmadome. This is the only time we see him in the original series, but in A New Wish we see an adult Dale Dimmadome and find out what he's been up to since this moment. He's now followed in his father's footsteps and is now the owner of the Dimmadome Globodome, and he is the worst.
Electronic rugs, plugs, and coffee mugs, and it's all single use.
Bad father, narcissist, power hungry, basically everything Kendrick Lamar said about Drake in Euphoria, apply it to Dale Dimmadome.
What is it, the brakes?
He has a son, Dev Dimmadome. He uses his history of working in Vicky's sweatshop to push the importance of hard work to his son Dev, but he conveniently leaves out that his life only turned around because he was reunited with his very wealthy father. Nepo baby's gonna Nepo baby. He's shown to be an unbearable jerk and a very neglectful father to his son Dev, which ends up being very important to the plot. Dale's son Dev Dimmadome is a frequent antagonist to Hazel early on. He's a spoiled rich kid, but deep down, he just wants his father's love and attention. It's similar to Remy Buxaplenty, but perhaps a little more layered. But when Dev gets really miserable, he gets assigned his own fairy godparent. And so far, it's been the most talked about moment in the entire show, because Dev's godparent is Poof from the original series. So Poof, as you likely remember, is the son of Cosmo and Wanda. Cosmo gave birth to him because that's how it works for fairies, I guess, and it was a pretty big deal. We find out Poof has now changed his name to Peri because Poof would be a kind of weird name for an adult man, I guess. Cosmo and Wanda went on a 10,000-year vacation, and Peri hasn't seen them since they left. He's initially nervous about his parents finding out he's been godparenting or is godparenting, but when they find out, they're very supportive. His personality is actually a very nice mix of both Cosmo and Wanda. He reminds me a lot of early Cosmo, like pilot episode, deep voice, Riz God Cosmo. He has his hands full with trying to be Dev's godparent, and he seems on the edge of losing it all the time. It's honestly one of the most fun parts of the entire series. It's a really fun dynamic watching him struggle with Dev and his insane wishes. Dev is really insecure, and at some points it's like really sad.
To use someone close to you to appeal to your emotions.
No one's close to me.
Bro, are you okay? Denzel Crocker was not only a bad teacher, he was, a lunatic. In A New Wish, Crocker actually has gone to therapy and healed all his trauma, and now he's a lot more calm and well-adjusted. Just kidding, he's still a nutcase.
God! Parents! Thank you. You're welcome!
He looks the same, but his hair has thinned out a lot. He's still obsessed with capturing fairies. He's no longer a teacher in Dimsdale, but is now a custodian at the Dimmadelphia Galax Institute, which I'm hoping means someone with authority realized this man should not be within 100 feet of a classroom and revoked his teaching license. But what's even more interesting than Crocker being a janitor is that his boss is one of his former students. Actually, his favorite student. AJ was one of Timmy's best friends, known for being the smartest kid in school. Now he's the founder of the Galax Institute, and he's incredibly yoked. Still bald, but rich and jacked, so it all evens out. When he appears, there's a nice fourth wall break on the screen. The Galax Institute is very important to this new series too, as Hazel's dad taking a teaching job there is why Hazel and her parents moved to Dimmadelphia in the first place. I want to talk about the character I find most interesting in the updated series, Vicky. But first, let's talk about Timmy Turner. And I don't mean that terrible song by Designer. Does anybody remember that?
Timmy Turner, he was wishing for a burner, the key lay by walking.
It's trash, dog. Get the off the airwaves.
Where's Timmy? We've seen his godparents, one of his best friends, his teacher, and more, so where's the main character of the original series? Well, we don't know. There's a bus driver that turns out to be an actor in a Crimson Chin movie that looks a lot like an adult Timmy. At least the grown-up version of Timmy in the episode where he wishes to be an adult. But this wasn't Timmy. The show's animation director Trevor Young stated in a Q&A on Twitter, yep, I'm still calling it Twitter, that Timmy won't be stopping by in Season 1, adding that his whereabouts are a mystery for now, but says there are some Easter eggs for the OG characters, pretty much confirming the bus driver was just a nod to Timmy, but not actually. Executive producers Lindsay Katai and David Stone have stated that the reason for Timmy not appearing is basically to focus on establishing Hazel as the new main protagonist of the franchise. And honestly, I think this is the right call, although I am interested to see how Timmy Turner would play into this very well-written and modern version of the Fairly Oddparents universe. I think it's more important right now to focus on establishing Hazel as the protagonist. Hazel is a great character too, very fun to watch and very different from Timmy, but I'm gonna get into that in another video. Lindsay did add that we may see Timmy Turner if more episodes are ordered, so we'll see. But finally, here's an update on everyone's favorite evil babysitter, Vicky. Known in some cultures as Icky Vicky. Shout out to Chip Skylark. Rumors of her demise have been greatly exaggerated. Earlier in the season, we see a skeleton that looks like Vicky, leading many to believe Vicky was, but it turned out to just be an Easter egg. She's a party performer now, but it turns out she's been using the party performer gig as a way to get free labor from children so she can sell items online. She still hates Chip Skylark, which is understandable. Icky Vicky is top 5 diss tracks of all time. So yeah, Vicky is still the cold-hearted witch from 2003. And so far, these are the updates we've gotten on the original Fairly Oddparents characters in the Fairly Oddparents A New Wish. But I'm sure we'll get many more as the series goes on. Are you enjoying A New Wish? Have you seen it yet? Sound off in the comments. And as always, thank you for watching.